count money, man. Stack riches. Try and told him I'm a beast blood.
What's up, gang? Welcome to the Grindcast. Simon Arias here. Get ready, it's a new day.
Well, welcome back here from Podcast with Champions. We got Simon over here with us, Greg and Jay.
Yo.
How's everything going today, guys?
Going good.
My man. We're here on a special day, Friday, a couple days before we open up here at Arias Agencies. The first is we're opening back up. How do you guys feel about that?
Ready?
Oh, I'm excited just to get out of the house again. Get back into the routine.
Got a couple questions for you, man. First one is what are some steps people can take to make you better?
What the hell are you talking about, Perm? Let me ask the question. What are some steps that people can take to get better? Like, what are some steps if you're trying to help make other people better? You develop people, you're trying to make people better. What are some
Great
steps
question.
if you're in leadership, if there's people in leadership listening to us, how can you teach them how to make their people better? What steps would you take to develop that person?
So what steps?
I'll give you step one. I'll let Justin give you step two.
Here you go.
Step one, the most important one, find a mentor.
Mentor.
Attach yourself to somebody that's doing better than you. And when I say doing better than you, I mean someone that has everything that you want. All right, so to give you an example, Simon has a few mentors. One is Jim Surace, okay? Very, very successful as a coach, as a businessman. So what he does here is he coaches people. So why not attach yourself to one of the greatest coaches of all time?
Boom.
Okay, so that's step one.
Exactly.
Justin, what do you think for step two?
Yeah, so to make other people better, you got to know what they want. You know, you got to know their why. And a lot of people are working right now, they don't even know their why. I think mentors is huge. You know, somebody got to show them the business, and then you got to spend time with people. You got to know what their vision is. Like what is their vision for the future? What do they really, really, really want? You know, what are their goals that they really want, and does it align with what they actually, you know, are willing to work for? And then once you know those two things, you got to make agreements with people. You know, you got to make agreements and follow those agreements with them, working hard, working towards the things that they want to do, and then you got to really work with them a lot. People just want your time. And, you know, you got to be able to identify the people that should have your time too. Because a lot of people want your time, but then they don't do anything with your time.
So they're just there.
Jay.
They're just there.
They're just there wasting it.
And, you know, early on in my career, sometimes I couldn't identify those people, so I would just work with everybody. And I think as I got in my career a little bit more success, I was able to identify, you know, those people that, you know, weren't just pretenders, but they were contenders. Like, they actually really wanted it. They showed up early. They sent me, you know, notes whenever I told them to do things. So, I mean, you gotta know their why. They got to be the people that you want to work with. You got to be able to identify that. And once you got all that down, you know, now I think it's just managing those agreements for what they want.
Greg mentioned relationships.
Relationships are huge.
I think you got to start off with one of the keys to mentoring people is you got to develop a relationship with the person. They literally, especially when you want to do business with people as business partners, you know, that need to get some form of coachability. They're not just going to follow just anybody. They have to give you permission in order to lead them. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like if you can't get them to want to do it because of how you've earned it and served them and continue to, then they no longer would want to follow somebody because they don't give you permission anymore. And you need that even more when you start coaching people that have super talent. And so, you know, talk to us about why you think it's important to build those bonds and relationships, and how would somebody go about it?
It's so important to build those relationships because if you really want to get in someone's ass, like, listen, I'm going to get in your ass. I'm going to yell at you. I'm going to tell you what you're doing wrong.
Always goes back to ass with Mr. Rudolph here.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started. We can make this a raw version. Don't get me started.
Jesus.
X-rated.
No. So if somebody asks you to get coached.
Back to ass again.
Cut.
Keep it going.
Keep it's all
That's
right.
what we
It's all
need to
good.
do.
It's
Damn
all
it.
good. Let's go.
All right.
This is great.
All right. Someone asks you
Again.
to be coachable, right? To coach them. You're going to want to ask them, how do you want me to coach you? All right. What are your goals? What are you trying to accomplish? So now you have a guideline of what they want, what their why is. All right. So now you get their permission. All right, Joe, is it all right if I get real with you? If I tell you what you're
Right.
doing wrong, critique you hard, like a coach. How do you like to be coached? Then you get their permission. Now, when you get their permission, that's when you go to work. That's when you know how they can be coached. And then I think it's very important for everybody to write down their goals and what they're
huge,
trying to accomplish.
huge.
Not only write them down, but you have to look at them daily.
Yes.
So put them on your refrigerator. Put them on your bathroom mirror where you shave every morning. But you have to look at them every day and then check them off.
I think the first thing we did when you were coming aboard was I sat at your kitchen table with you and we wrote down all the goals.
Yeah.
And I think you put them up
Still look at
on the
'em. They're
refrigerator.
on my fridge still.
And remember, at the end of year one, every single one of them was marked off. And at the end of everything that you marked down was already
Yep.
accomplished. So now we got to start, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So then you start over again and you do the same thing. Very good.
Now I have new goals.
Very good point. Very good point. I love it. So tell us about, I think when you start playing football or you start boxing, at some point you have to do something for the first time. The first time you drink water, the first time you box, the first time you kiss somebody. The first time is not always your best time. I don't think people walk straight into a boxing gym. Now, of course, people will walk in with a little bit more aggression or some athletic ability.
Right.
But if somebody's trained and they're not trained, you and I both know that can only take you so far, the athletic ability and all that stuff. You got to have skill. So at some point, you're not the best or one of the best in the process. And how do you transition from, even if you expedite it and work so hard that it's a fast process, what's the mindset? Because I think so many people come in that want greatness in anything. They expect for it to happen, overnight. I want to box, for a couple weeks, and I want to be able to be, great, banging with somebody that's been around for 10 years doing this 5 days a week. Or, I want to run like Justin, if I run track and I just do it for one summer versus, years of doing it. So what things do you think translate from sports into business? Because we do business, we work with a lot of athletes. We like to work with athletes because they understand our language, and it's not that other people. We have other people that aren't that weren't former athletes, but I feel like we have more athletes that do well here than non-athletes, and I think it's because we can speak that language and they understand the process. So, what do you guys think? How does someone get through that process to be great? Because in jiu-jitsu, I remember starting, I was a state champ in football. I was strong. I could lift weights. I was athletic. I was aggressive. I was already fighting before I got in there. And I get in there and I get humbled. I mean, I feel like I got humbled for damn near for at least a year. I mean, just mentally going there saying, this is about to suck. You about to get your ass beat. You know what I'm saying?
You want to
for
know
about
why
an
you got-
hour.
You want to know why you got better? Because you were uncomfortable. So with sports, with business, if you're comfortable, you're never going to grow. You're never going to get better.
100.
Right? Because you're complacent. So being uncomfortable is where you grow, is where you, challenge yourself and you learn new things. You learn new skills. You work harder. So I think being uncomfortable is probably the first thing you got to do. And that's with anything. I mean, take us, it's uncomfortable making a couple hundred phone calls a night. It's uncomfortable telling somebody, someone's on the phone, hangs up on you, or they don't want you. Everything is uncomfortable.
Amen.
But you get better. You get better and better and better. You're probably uncomfortable at first rolling with Bamboo, who's one of the best black belts
Still
in the country.
uncomfortable.
Right?
Yeah.
But how much better did that make you? Now you can
Game
pretty
went
much
to another level.
handle, anybody around here. So I think being uncomfortable is probably one of the most important things.
Yeah, I think also, with that is when I started playing football, I never played before. I was just athletic. And I tried to look at the people that were good because they played Little League and everything like that and tried to emulate some of the things that they were doing as far as working hard, as far as showing up to practice. And then I tried to do extra things that they weren't doing because they had something I wanted. I wanted to beat you out. So I would try to beat you to practice. And then I would try to stay late and learn things that you didn't want to learn. Anything to get me that edge. Because when you're starting off, you want anything to get you that edge. And then I try to hang around the people that were doing well. So in football, I wasn't hanging around the people on the bench. I was hanging around the starters. Boom. Because there's a reason why you're a starter. There's a reason why you're on the bench.
Come on.
So in this business, I try to do the same thing. It was nothing against the people not doing well, but I would take, like Steve Dell did this when he first started, but I would, find somebody who was doing well and I would take them to lunch and I would buy the lunch for them. Even though they were making more money than me, I wanted to learn everything that you learned because there's a reason why you're where you're at. So how you get better is learning from other people and then putting in more work ethic than them. Yep. Like when I heard you were getting up at 5:30, I'm like, I want what Simon wants, so I'm gonna get up at 5. If I hear you're going to sleep at 9, I'm going to sleep at 8:30. So anything to get you that edge is gonna get you better. And understand it's not about being perfect in anything. Nobody was perfect. It's about, are you getting better? Are you progressing and getting better? So if you're always thinking about that, you're not comparing yourself to anybody but you. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, comparison has to happen. But if you're getting better each and every day, soon you'll be a starter. You keep doing the same thing and the right thing over and over again. Like I was telling JB, Jason Bratton, who rocked out this week, did very well.
Crushed it.
I'm like, if you keep doing the same thing, man, they cannot deny you. Just keep doing the same thing. But people stop doing things that are good when they don't get the result right now. I learned that maybe I couldn't handle it if I got it right now. There's a reason why. So you got to not be satisfied and keep pushing, but always trying to get better.
In track,
and hard work will beat talent
all day.
Long run. Over the long run.
Right. I've seen plenty of people in NFL are not that great, better than
talent
people
will
for
only
sure.
get you so far.
But they're there. They're coachable.
But the person that shows up every day, that gets those reps in, you'll just start to see them pass up the person that's talented.
Amen.
With
See it every day.
In track, remember when you ran track, you hurdled?
No, man, I can't get over no.
Never?
No. I did do the long jump, though. I did the long jump.
Did you?
I did the long jump.
How long was it?
I think my longest one was 22-1.
Jesus.
I don't know how I remember that, you know what I mean? But I went to Steel Valley, I think, you know what I mean, and as a sophomore. I found something I could do well. Black people, we could jump a little bit.
I bet y'all can. Y'all can run away fast too. That's why you picked it, huh? You was the runner, wasn't you?
100, 200. I couldn't do the 200.
You was the runner. That's why I asked you that
100-meter dash. My man.
I love it. That's great. Jay, talk to me a little bit about work ethic. I think. You hear, this isn't something we're inventing here today. You hear about work ethic all the time.
Jay's got it.
What different spin?
Jay's got it.
What different spin can you use to explain to somebody like work ethic? Because I think people think they understand work ethic until you see a cat with some work ethic.
Yeah.
And you like, what does it mean to have when you say you got to have a good work ethic or a great work ethic?
Yeah.
I think 90% of people think they have a good work ethic and they don't. What do you think would explain what it means to have a great work ethic?
That's a hard one because it just comes natural. You know what I mean? Work ethic. But if somebody would look at the work you're doing and they would just start scratching their head like that's insane, the amount of work that you're putting in, that's work ethic, to me. And to me, that's something that doesn't involve talent, doesn't involve what color you are, doesn't involve how tall you are or how short you are.
Simon wouldn't have made it.
Exactly. Me neither. Me neither. All those things. And it's something that is you versus you. It's you versus you. And you got to always think about, am I the hardest working person, in the room and in the building? And that's what I always tried to do because I knew it wasn't about talent. It wasn't about, how well I was able to do this or that. Can I show up every single day, no matter what happens, no matter a death in the family, no matter if I'm fighting with my wife, no matter if my kids, just did something crazy. Like, you got to be able to show up and give it 100% every single day, or you shouldn't show up. So I always try to keep that in mind, because people are dependent on you. People are watching what you do, especially if you're in leadership. People are watching what you do. And if you're cutting corners, which, don't get me wrong, I've cut a lot of corners in my day, but if you're cutting corners, then they're going to cut corners as well.
Yep.
So with work ethic, I just try to always be that example. Be that example for my kids, be that example for my wife, be that example for anybody in business, that they can look towards me and see how hard I'm working. So maybe that might push them a little bit harder as well. But I know it's something that I can always win in, and you gotta want it. You gotta not be satisfied with where you're currently at. And my why is so big about what I want to do, and it causes me to work extremely, extremely, extremely hard. It's almost like I don't want to be big, and I know you won't let me get big, Like,
hey, I've been always big. You looked at the wrong one, brother. I've been always big, just so you know.
So I'm gonna wake up in the morning.
I've already been there.
You did. You're a different big.
Yeah, you're a different big.
Sperm is a different type of big.
I'm a different type of different dick.
Perm is big, like B, period, I, period, G, period.
Yeah, big sperm. That's it. Yeah.
It's the reasons why.
I love watching the videos of him getting on the plane.
Those are the best.
Oh, I love it.
Always. I think you got something in there.
And he gets harassed by TSA
every time, bro.
It's 9 out of 10.
It's not random. That's for sure.
But that should just want to make you work harder. Get your private jet.
Exactly. That's what we're trying to get.
We go get big perm on that thing.
We trying to get it. So when they say, "Come on," oh, we couldn't let you through the lines. I am the line now, bro.
As long as I can get a ride in it, you know what I mean.
You know what I'm saying?
I'll put some money up on it. Let me get a ride in every once in a while.
You got it. Sure.
I love it, dog. Yeah. So what? Why do you think, Greg? From your perspective, we shared on part one what my perspective was. Why do you think we've been able to do really well during COVID-19?
Boom.
In your experience?
Yeah.
Well, it all starts with the top. The people at the top. Globe Life. They came up with a solution as soon as the problem came up, and we were ahead of the curve, and we adapted so much that we actually created a new sales position that we can have more people do. We have how many stay-at-home moms and dads are out there that want to be independent, that want to work, but just can't because they have kids at home and they can't do this. They can't afford daycare. But now, we have people sitting in their underwear with a polo shirt on, virtual or a suit top. You see people in their shorts, their gym shorts, and like a suit jacket, and they can work for 3 hours or 4 hours or as long as they want from their living room, and they're making money. And
yeah, that's huge.
So it was a blessing in disguise to us, and we're fortunate. But it doesn't stop there. It has to pour down the ladder. Simon was so aggressive with it of getting us onto this thing, and it's just good leadership. I was so against it. I'm like, this is never going to work. I'm like, this is so stupid.
Not going to do it.
The retention's going to be awful. People aren't going to answer. People are going to. You got all these old people trying to get on Zoom calls. This is going to be a freaking nightmare. But. Do
you know me and Justin counsel each other to try to make it through dealing with
That's
you?
why relationships are so key.
Justin's like, oh, Greg, he'll be good tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He cool.
We good.
All great people are high maintenance.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. What do you think? Why do you think, Jay?
I think at the beginning of the year, our goals were so big that we were like, there's no way that this is going to stop us from hitting what we needed to hit. We put a bunch of time in. We put a bunch of planning in. We had the whole year planned out, something that we never did before. And, I just think we had that vision of what we wanted, and nothing was going to stop us. And then you were pushing us hard. You know what I mean? You're making sure that that we figured it out. people started to get it, and I think you had a great game plan that the people that were getting it start teaching the other people.
Yeah.
But I just think it goes back to, I mean, we knew what we wanted to hit for the second quarter, and our first quarter was pretty good. We were off to a good start. We just didn't want anything to deter that. COVID, earthquake. I mean, nothing was going to get in our way. Stopping us getting our goals.
There truly always is, a silver lining in negativity. When things don't go your way, there's usually, if you look for it, there's something.
Opportunity.
Something. Some opportunity. This may close. This opens up. You look back on it and you say, oh, man, if this never happened, this never would have happened.
Yeah.
So, but you got to be looking for it. If you ain't looking for it, and you're only thinking, you're hanging in the mud, only seeing the negative, then you never see what is trying to be presented to you.
That's what you're good
be
at.
it coming from I believe sometimes it comes from a higher power, personally.
Yeah. Yep.
So I'm just I'm paying attention, I'm waiting to receive. I already know. And so, I think for us, this has been such a blessing, for us, like you said, Greg. There's people that we couldn't hire before because they wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah.
Or we couldn't even believe in hiring them because we wouldn't, I don't know if I'd want my sister to do this or, you know what I mean?
Right.
Or whatever. And now, like we were talking to, I was talking to Justin, I'm like, we crushed it this week, but this could not have been a grind like the old grind. I mean, it's a grind, but not like the grind where you got to be on the road 2 hours, or you get no-showed, you drive an hour away, you get no-showed to drive 30 minutes away. Like if you get no-show, you just go to the next person. There's no way it's the same level of mental grind. So, but at this, I just think of where our game has changed forever.
Yes.
It's changed forever. Forever changed. We can hire people in other areas. We can hire people in other states. They can work with us from no matter where the hell they're at in the
from
country.
Atlanta last night.
Never would have been able to happen.
Awesome.
Never would have been able to happen. So just straight blessing in disguise. Why don't we wrap it up? One thing that we all have in common is being fathers.
Yeah.
Every one of us.
Yep.
So how would you say, becoming a father has made you better, Big Perm, and then Justin, and then Greg? What things have helped to make you better since you've become a father? And I know, Greg, you just within the last couple of years became a father again.
Congratulations.
You already were a father. There was a little gap there, though.
Lumberjack.
Trying again.
Congrats,
I love
dog.
practicing. You trying again? Yeah.
Ooh, all right.
Well, me, man, for me, being a father was probably the best thing that ever happened to me. Like, I've been with the same woman for over 25 years.
Fresh egg.
Yep, over 7 miscarriages lost. Oof. And we finally got our daughter named Catalea, which means the blossoming of a flower. She is my world. So that has changed me completely. Like, from being to where I was to where I'm at now, she's my everything. So I do everything that we do, like our parents, like us fathers, we do it for our kids. The things that we never had, we want to show them the right way, not the wrong way, because we all know we've done some wrong, but we're trying to do the right thing. So that just changed me, just having her in my life.
Poor Justin.
Yeah, the best.
The influence that I was on Justin Adams.
Oh, you were bad.
Not good.
Jesus.
Good.
Sorry, Mr. Adams. I apologize.
Oh, this guy.
Your dad had it. You know what I mean? He was doing good. He had you straight. You know what I mean? In the middle of the north side of Youngstown. So far, so good. Guys, we got this. Now he's going to high school.
Program.
And then you meet.
And here you come, Mr.
All A's.
Simon here.
Program.
Curly hair at the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pulled up on you.
First ever friend, I was able to sleep over his house. Ever.
What a bad decision.
But
My kids will not have any sleepover.
I bet Simon made your dad do it, huh? He got to do it. It's all
He
right.
might have.
Yeah. I bet he did.
We got to have that conversation.
How did he convince you, Pops?
How do you think being a dad made you better, Justin?
Oh,
you a
man.
dad 3 times to 3 girls.
Congrats. 3 girls. That's 3 times harder,
Yeah.
brother.
Being a dad
you gotta pay for it too.
3 weddings you got to pay. Yeah.
3 weddings. Yeah, that's why I'm still working.
Yeah.
That's one of the goals. But being a dad is just awesome. Just being, at first I was upset because I had the 3 girls. I wanted a boy, of course, but I realized, that God, had a plan and a reason. And I'm a person that likes a lot of affection, and my girls give me so much affection. It's unbelievable. But I think it's taught me a lot of patience, for sure, with Greg, with Steve, with Chuck Ferrari, with a lot of my, MGAs that sometimes push it to the limit. It's taught me a lot of patience, but also I think it's taught me a lot of, just looking forward. Because when you have children, you always want to look, forward about what's going to happen, in the future. You want to always be in the moment, but I always want to take care of things for them before it happens. And now I'm finding out, I'm doing that in the business too. Finding out things for Greg before he might not even know it. And I think that's helped me a lot with dealing with some A players, and they understand I got their back. And I think parenting is the same way. You try to, whenever you're a parent, you try to, look to the future to see what you need to instill in them.
A real parent.
Yes.
Make sure we say that, a real parent.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I mean, it's along with Tyler Adams, my wife, man, we just love being parents. The best is yet to come.
Boom.
And just being able to instill, the pillars, in them about the future with God and finances and everything, man. It's been a blessing.
I think heading over to Greg next. I'll tell you, this is such an important thing because. I look back and I didn't have that. Perm didn't really have that. I didn't have that father in my life. Me and Justin met my dad for the first time as an adult together. And Justin asked him where he's been.
Where you been?
Where have you been? And
alcohol.
But check it out. We're friends now.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's all good. I met him I think I was 28. I'm 37. I'll be 37. It's been 9 years. And, I mean, we talk a couple times a month. And it's all good. It's all love. And so that was...
We can't understand them, though.
I'm getting better. I hit up Perm. I have Perm tell me what he's saying to me. You know what I'm saying?
Smooth.
And so, Greg, what do you think, man? How do you think being a dad has impacted you, made you better?
Oh, man, I like being a dad. I love it. It's fun. It's challenging.
Yeah.
My daughter's 14 now, so it's extra challenging.
That's a long time.
Justin said he loves the affection he gets from his girls. Yeah. I don't get that anymore, because she just wants to hang out with her friends all the time.
Oh boy.
But it's a crazy age, But I got the perfect balance, the little boy and the girl, so I'm happy. We're shooting for another. Yeah. I don't care if it's a boy or a girl, But when we had my daughter, I was young. I was really young. It wasn't something planned. I'm not with her mother anymore, so it's even more challenging. You got two different, houses trying to raise a kid. So it's challenging.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about.
I do know.
But it makes you grow up. It makes you get your shit together.
100.
If you care about your kids, it makes you get your shit together.
Sure.
And it makes you plan for the future, whether it is working harder or working towards your goals. Because it's not only about you anymore, it's about your family. So that's what I get from it, and I love it. It's fun.
I think being a dad, it's funny, dog. We're starting to get old enough. Like we won a state championship in high school in 2000.
Crazy, bro.
Me and Justin were just talking. He's like, dog, you understand that all these players right now at our high school, if we speak to them, none of them were alive. None of them were here when we won a state championship.
Not even thought about it.
So, but we have the blessing and privilege. We're coaching 19-year-olds, 21-year-olds. We're old enough to be their dads.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you almost take that type of a father figure role to them, especially if they didn't have one, because Jim Surace did that with me.
I got my boys.
You know what I'm saying? So you got a bunch of boys right now, Jay, to work with, and it's amazing to see what the young people have been able to do in our business. That we're looking for that type of parenting leadership type and like father type leadership that I've watched you guys give to the young folks that need a good example how to be a dad. See you being a good husband. You ain't running around cheating and doing crazy stuff. Like setting a real man example for cats that don't usually get a chance to see things like that up close and personal by people making as much money as y'all make, looking the way that y'all look. You understand what I'm saying? And so I think I think being a parent has helped me for sure. coaching up the young folks, because like you said, just the patience. You know, when you have kids, like right now, when I see someone die, when I see a kid, something happen to a person out there, a car accident, I immediately, my heart goes to their parents. You know, I'm like, oh man, my heart breaks for their mom, my heart breaks for their dad. I can't even imagine, you know what I mean? So it's, no matter where this is at, you feel their pain. And so I think when you look at, you know, spending time with these young people, I start looking at them like, what if, you know, this was your son? What if this was your daughter? You know, how would you want her to be looked after? How would you want him to be looked after? What type of things would you instill in them? What type of patience would you show them? What type of example would you show them? And I think we got the opportunity to make that type of impact on people right now. And I think, you know, to wrap this up, you know, I'll say that, you know, what I ask, I think if you found any value in this podcast, we ask that you share it with other people that we can impact. You know, we tried to bring it together today like a, you know, one of those college posters where you got to have one black kid, one white kid, you know, one, you know, so we got
multicolored.
We brought you Boricua on one side. We brought you a Puerto Rican,
here.
big one. Then we brought you a black man, African American.
Oh, fight the power
in the house right there. Okay,
it.
I'm Venezuelan and Italian, so it's kind of hit. And then we got an Italian, we got a white guy over here, the lumberjack. So whatever you need, my friend, whatever you guys need, we got it up here. Okay, if they can't relate to somebody, we got Boricua. Morena over here. Okay,
let's go.
We got whatever you need out there. We can try to relate to people and impact their life. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the podcast with these guys. Thanks, Greg. Thanks, Justin. Thanks, Big Perm.
Always, baby.
We'll see y'all next time. Let's get it.
Let's go. Money, man. Money, stack riches. Trying told him I'm a beast, blood.